biggest thing we've got to stop doing as an industry is meeting or beating a price. Telling the consumer, oh, what are you paying? I'll meet or beat the price. You're not Walmart. You're not Walmart. You got to get that Walmart mentality out of your head. Walmart say, hey, we'll meet or beat anybody's price. Just bring us the ad or, whatever it is. The problem with being Walmart mentality and utilizing that as a way to run your business is you're probably throwing yourself and your business under the bus. I'm not going to say 100% you are, because I don't want to offend anybody, because that's just me. I don't like pissing anybody off. But the reality of it is, you got to be really careful when you say, hey, we'll meet or beat the price that you're paying. And there's a lot of reasons why, and we're going to talk about several of those today as we go through the truth bomb. But the reality of it is, let's just say it's spraying a yard, for an example. Okay, so you go to the customer and you say, hey, what are you paying? I'll meet or beat the price. Well, the problem is you're going to spray that yard. That's a reoccurring revenue, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a year or more, right? Based on your program or where you're at. But it's normally not just, my point is, and mowing's the same way, it's not just a one-time sell. Walmart says, hey, we'll meet or beat a price on that TV or that radio or that fill in the blank, whatever it is, sitting in their store. But how many times do you walk into Walmart and walk out with one item that they met or beat a price on? Normally you walk in with a cart and you leave with a cart full, and they might meet or beat one or two prices, but they're getting their margins on everything else. If you're going to use the meet or beat mindset, don't do it on something that's going to be a reoccurring revenue, like fertilization and weed control or mowing, something that you're going to continually keep selling the client. Because that's when you look at it, that's not a one-time discount. That's like the Jelly of the Month Club, man. That's the gift that keeps on giving. And why do you want to keep giving that same discount? And I can hear you saying, well, Wayne, man, we don't keep giving that discount. BS. I'll call it out. BS. You do. Because the reality of it is, as an industry, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm just saying, but as an industry, statistically, we are, and you don't have to believe me, look it up. Google does great things, okay? We are very reluctant to raise our prices. You know it, I know it, we all know it. So when you do that methodology of meet or beat a price, you're stuck in on a price that in most cases, you don't know what you don't know. You're just doing it to get to work. And I think this year is certainly going to be different. It's the same to a certain extent. This year, we're all concerned with, well, gosh, everything's going up. Fuel's going up, insurance is going up, fill in the blank, it's gone up, right? Inflation's high as it's been in many, many years, and you're thinking, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to have an increase. But are you willing to sit down and figure out and make sure what that price should be? Because just because you decide to have an increase doesn't necessarily mean that the percent of that increase that you're going to use is the right amount. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if right now, today, and don't get your feelings hurt with this, but I'm going to say it, okay? Right now, today, do you really know why you charge what you charge, other than the fact that's what you think the market will bear, or that's what your competitors are charging in your area, or that's what the client said they wanted to pay? I'm trying to think, all these ways we normally bid jobs. But if you don't know, even like now that your customer base is right, just because you throw a 10 or a 15% increase to it, and you're reluctant to do that, still doesn't mean the price is right. That's what I want you to understand and to take away, because I know what's going to happen. I'm telling you, I've been doing this way too long and been through too many economic changes, too many, ups and downs in our economy, that this year and next year, and I've talked about this on Profit Time before, the next 2 years, there's going to be a lot of fallout in our industry. And it's not because we're stupid. It's because we don't know what we don't know about our pricing, and we're going to throw a percentage of increase at it because, well, that's what everybody else is doing. Everybody else went up 15%. You see it all the time on social media. Well, guy says, well, I've raised 15%. And guys, well, man, you ain't going to make it if you don't raise 25. And the other guy says, no, man, you don't have to be that high. Why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you implement some type of methodology? And it doesn't have to be ours at Profits Unlimited. It doesn't have to be our bidding package that will calculate cost per hour of operation for you based on your overhead, your use rate, your desired profit margin. So you know where your break-even point's at, but use somebody's. So you know that, hey, this is the percentage of increase I need to have. That's what it really amounts to. Got a text here. I want to read it real quick. It says, preach it, Wayne. And to make matters worse, come lease season, what about this mowing times 2 methodology? Give that profit away. Absolutely. That's absolutely true. Mowing cost times anything does not work for leaves unless you're in Disney World. You might as well be Disney on Ice and talk about doing that. But why do we do it? Because we don't know the price. Same thing we're talking about here on the Truth Bomb. We don't know the price for that either. This is all relevant to what does it cost you, not your competitor, not what your customer's willing to pay, but what's it cost you per hour of operation? Have you sat down and figured it out? Because if you haven't, just because you have a 10 or a 15 or a 20% price increase or whatever number you throw at it this year, still doesn't mean it's going to be the right price. You're still going to be potentially in trouble. So how do you know? How you going to fix it? That's up to you. What it boils down to is you've got to use some type of methodology to calculate your cost per hour for your company, not only to get through this year, but each and every year after this year. And I don't want to see anybody fail. I really don't, because Wayne's Lawn Service was on the brink of failure in 1987. We were 9 years in as a 2-truck operation, at almost $90,000 in debt, thinking we needed more work. But what was broke is exactly what we're talking about on our Truth Bomb, is we didn't have a pricing methodology in place. What you've got to do is get yourself out of the race to the bottom. Get yourself out of that race to the bottom. And for some of you guys that have sat in on some of my seminars in the past, you've heard me talk about this exact thing. Get out of the race to the bottom.